we are going to learn about Python. Just wanted to understand, do you have any idea why they have named a programming language with a snake name? Anyone? Anyone? Any thoughts?
I think it's one of the BBC program or something.
Okay. I'll give you it's just a question I'm asking you. Okay. You need to tell me whether it's true or false. Okay. So this snake, known to be Python, can eat any animal. It can eat, you would have seen in a lot of Discovery Channel, right? It can swallow one complete goat. It can swallow complete hen. And in fact, it can even swallow complete human being. Can I say that just because it eats up every other creature, and just because this programming language is going to be on top of every other programming language, that is why it is called as Python? Can I call it in that way? Is it true?
No.
No. Okay. What about this? Can I say it swallows all the other technologies?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Okay. Well, we are going into the tougher part, that is learning about coding. So one thing which I would like to give you the expectations is, if you want to understand Python, there are some prerequisites. Okay. What is that is, you have to understand English. If you understand English, writing code in Python is very easy. Writing code in Python is very easy. Okay. The only thing which I would like to tell is, maybe here and there you would have heard about other technology, but when it comes to a programming language, it is always necessary for us to understand the basics. So the entire Python session is going to be from scratch. Okay. Right from like installation, we are going to learn everything. Initially, the first 3-4 days will be like a very basics, like as and then about KSR, it's all about starting from scratch. So we're going to start everything from scratch. Later, we will figure out how we can leverage this coding into our data engineering course, right? So one programming language, if you're aware of it, you can always be safe. Okay. Another thing which I want to tell is, you would have heard about a lot of layoffs is happening, and you would have seen a lot of people losing their jobs and all, right? But if you have a coding knowledge, right? If you know one coding programming language, you always have a golden ticket in your bag. Okay, with this coding, you can always get into any subject, any technology, anytime. So that is where I keep stressing it. Learn coding, not only for data engineering, for overall, in order to survive in your career, try to learn one coding language. Okay. So with that introduction, let me get into the subject. First, as and then I'll talk about what is this Python, and then we will take it one step forward in understanding the history and why we need Python. And finally, as I said, we will always go with the installation first, and then finally we will start writing our first code. Okay, so this will be the agenda for the today's session. To figure out what is Python, it says that Python is a high level programming language, right? So first we need to understand what is this high level programming language. So there are two things. One is low level programming language, one is high level programming language. So let's see what is this high level and what is this low level. Okay. Now, imagine that all of you are new for coding. You don't know anything, right? You don't know anything. You are sitting here in this class without having any knowledge, 0% programming language. Okay. But if I ask you to stare on the screen for just 1 minute, okay, just imagine you are very new to coding. You don't know anything. Okay. You don't know anything. You're seeing this coding for the first time. I'll give you 1 minute time. Just observe and tell me, what are we doing? What are we doing?
Addition of two numbers.
Adding two numbers. Yeah.
Did you get to know this from left or right?
From left.
What is happening in the right? What is happening in the right?
In the right side, it's addition.
Well, both the code which you're seeing, right? Uh, it's a high level programming language and low level programming language. Both the code is doing exactly the same operation of addition of two numbers, right? Addition of two numbers. But the one which is readable for humans, right? If you go back to the left side, one can easily read this. One can easily read this. Okay, you're defining some two numbers, you're passing some parameters, and you're calculating the results, and then you are printing it. Such an easy one to understand. Even if you're coming from a non-coding background, anyone can go and understand. That is why I said that if you want to learn Python, the first thing is you have to know English. If you know English, you can know Python. I keep always getting these questions. I'm now from a non-coding background. How will I able to learn this coding? Well, if you know English, anyone can learn, right? It's all about managing the syntax. It's all about managing the syntax. Well, now defining what is this high level language and low level language. High level language is actually human readable. You can figure out what is happening. Okay, I've written two numbers. I'm going to pass the numbers and I'm going to get the results. But in case of low level programming, I don't know what is this MOV. I don't know what is this EAX. I don't know what is this one. I don't know what is this XOR. I don't know why all this. This becomes a very difficult. So this is called low level language. So whenever you're working with any programming language, you will have low level language, high level programming language, right? So low level is something which is going to be very useful and fast in terms of computers. But in our case, when we write in high level programming language, it's very useful for humans. But internally, when you write it, it gets converted into a low level language and then goes to a system. Okay, so try to understand. This is your computer. This is your computer. Your computer will understand a set of language. That is nothing but low level language. Okay, so your computer understands only one language, which is low level language. So it understands, okay, I need to do an addition, I need to do a subtraction, I need to move it records. But this is what it understands, right? But we cannot understand this. So what we have done, we have written one more layer, high level programming language. So what will happen when you write the code, it again passes through the low level language and then goes to the PC, and that is where the interaction happens. The reason why we call it as a high level language, very simple, and I can simply say that it is human readable. It is human readable, right? So with that introduction to the high level language and the low level language, we will say that Python is a high level language. High level language means it's actually human readable, very easy. It is a syntax based oriented programming language which becomes easier for your implementation. Okay, as in then I usually don't remember this, but still, if you're learning any technology, it is always good to know that when it was introduced and who has introduced that. So Guido van Rossum was the father of Python. So basically, he was the person who introduced the Python, and Python was introduced in the year 1989. Okay, the people who were born in 1989, the same year Python was also introduced, right? So it's 11 years, 11 years plus 24. So it's been 35 years that Python was introduced, and today most of the applications, most of the organizations are preferring to use Python for all of their implementation because it's very easy and very flexible to write it, right? And there is a misconception that Python is coming from a snake name, right? So it's not actually a snake name. It's actually coming from one of the popular show, which is called the Complete Monty Python Circus. So that from there, they've actually taken this Python as a name of the programming language. Okay, so don't think that just because it is eating up all the other snakes, or it is a biggest snake, we call it as Python. No, that's not the right. It's coming from the another name, which is actually a program. So and due to some naming conventions, they have picked this, and I would say it is also a dynamically type programming. Now let's see what is this dynamically type programming. First, we were able to understand what is low level language and what is high level language, and then we were able to see when it was introduced and what is the reason that why they have kept the name Python. Python is not a snake name. It is actually coming from one of the program, and the program name is the Complete Monty Python Circus. Okay, from that popular show, they have named it. Okay, now with this understanding, let's see why we need to use data. I mean, why we need to use Python for our data engineering, right? The first reason I would say is we have a larger community. Okay, we have a larger community. That means if you are stuck with any of the issues, already you will have a n number of solutions that has been given from the community people. The community people are, many of them will be working onto a same technology, same issues. So you have a larger community, and that is where you will be able to get the support. I keep saying this. I keep saying this. Your data engineering is like climbing a Mount Everest. Your data engineering is like a climbing a Mount Everest. When you're climbing a Mount Everest, you will have a lot of challenges when you're going from bottom to top, right? You will have a lot of challenges. So whenever you have a lot of challenges, you need to overcome the challenges, right? So we cannot make our initial path itself complex. And that is why we are using a programming language which is very easy for us to make our coding easier. So when I say large community, you have n number of solutions that has already been given to us. You just need to go and refer it and get it done, right? Now, for example, you can see that how to read one full line. You already have a solution. Okay, automatically convert notebook into Python. You already have answers. Parsing some Python files. Maybe they have recently raised, but yeah, someone is yet to answer. This is called community. So someone would have already answered. You just go and click the answer, get the answer, and use it in your code, right? So there is no one here to go and see how it is working. You just need the code. Okay. Imagine you people are buying a new car. Okay, you people are buying a new car. So what happens? You buy a new car and you start driving, right? You check some instructions from the storeroom and you showroom, and you just go and start using the car. No one will ever go and research how engine is working. What is this two-stroke engine? What is this four-stroke engine? Whether we have a four-stroke engine or a two-stroke engine, is it a diesel-oriented engine or it's a petrol-oriented engine? We never open that engine box and we don't go and do a research. We trust the product and we drive it, right? No one has ever done it. Why the wheel is in circular shape, right? Why wheel is in a round shape? Why, how it is moving? What is the friction that is getting generated between the tire and the road? We never do this research, right? Our work is, yes, there is a car, let's use it for a travel. Similarly, there is a coding language which is Python. Don't go and research, okay, why it's working, how it's working. Just follow the syntax and start implementing it. You are here to learn for data engineering only, not as a complete Python. Complete Python is like an ocean. We don't want to do that. For our help, what we need, right? See, for example, I'll tell you, this is a mountain. This is a mountain. Okay, this is a hill you have to climb. Imagine this is a hill. This is the top you have to reach, and you have a path for this. You have a path for this, and this is data engineering. This is data engineering. Okay, there is one side, a lot of trees are there. Okay, a lot of trees are there, plants are there, all this is there. At one side, water is there. Okay, it's a river water, right? Now you have to climb here. You have to climb. Now tell me, you have to climb to the top. What is required for you? Till you go on top, you need food and water. You need food and water, right? So you need food and water, correct? Now think this as this in the trees, right? You may get apples, mangoes, you may get some fruits, and here you may get water. This is a river. Now, in order to reach the top, will you take the entire trees, entire fruits, and will you carry the entire water? Definitely not possible, right? This is unlimited. Okay, this is also unlimited. So what you do, you carry two bags. Okay, in one bag you carry fruits and one bag you carry water, or in what bottle you carry water. So what you're doing, this is SQL. This is Python. So what you're doing, are you going to learn everything? Are you going to carry everything? No. In order to climb to the top, which is a data engineering, how much of fruits is required? How much of water is required? Only that you're going to pick. So please try to understand, we are here not to learn complete Python. If you are looking to learn completely, I'll be learning coding, this is not the right course. This course is for data engineering, where we have to reach on top. That's our main need here. For that, how much of water is required to carry? I'll take. How much of fruits is required, I'll carry. So that's the path now we have to follow. So this reason we are going to focus on what is required for our data engineering. The first one is larger community. The second one is very easy syntax. Very easy syntax. Okay. In fact, I've worked with a lot of programming languages. I never have seen this a programming language which is very, very easy and very easy in terms of syntax. Right. Nowadays, 5-year-old kid is actually doing a coding. Why can't we do it? Why can't we do it? Right. Recently, I was actually going through some of the Instagram reels, and I've seen a 5-year-old kid is actually teaching coding for others. Right. I don't know how many of you have observed this. 5-year-old kid is doing. Why can't we learn? Is it a rocket science? Definitely no. And in fact, the coding has become such an easy nowadays. Is you have a lot of AI platforms. You go to ChatGPT, search a code, you will get it. You go to Bard, you go and search something, you will get it. There is a lot of Stack Overflow. There's a lot of community. So even the community also has some answers. When I say my generation, that is the coding generation, when I started to code in 2014, life was very difficult. Life was very difficult. We were not even able to open Google in the office laptops, office computers. But nowadays, everything is open. Anyone can go and access Google. Anyone can go and get the code. The way of coding has been changed tremendously in this modern era. So don't worry about coding. As I said, we are not going to learn as a complete ocean. What is required? Let's carry with that. And for that, the second reason I would say is it's a very, very easy syntax. It's very, very easy syntax. Now, moving on, let's see a simple example. Let's see a simple example. Okay. Now, in a simple example, I want to write a program to print hello world. As and then everyone starts with from ABCD. Let's also start with a hello world. The first code that you will write it in Python will always be a hello world. Now, the efforts taken to write this hello world program, if you see in Java, you have to write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Even if I minus all the brackets, I have to still write 5 lines of code for a simple word hello world. I have to write 5 lines of code for a simple hello world. And even in that also, I don't know what is a string. I don't know what is this brackets. I don't know what is this ARGS, and I don't know what is a system. I don't know what they're doing. All it becomes very difficult for me to understand. It's actually a difficult task for me. But if I want to write it in Python, very easy, and it's easily understandable. What do you mean by print? Print means it is known that it will print the values. Whatever I write within the brackets, that is going to give you the results. Well, this is how, if I want to compare with my Java and Python, your Java, we have to go with some process and it comes with 5 to 6 lines only for printing a print hello world. But if I talk about Python, it's just one line. It's just the one line. Now that is making me easier for me to write the coding, right? So all good. Now I was able to understand why Python is easy, right? Now let's see what is this statically typed and dynamically typed. Okay, the reason why I'm explaining you this is because I was able to see something called dynamically typed. So we'll see what is this dynamically typed. Okay, now when I say dynamically typed, imagine I have to store some value to some variable. Just like we want, you see calculator, you're using calculator. First we'll store some value, right? A equal to 5, B equal to 5. So something you will store, right? So I have to store some numbers into some variables. If you speak about Java, Java is actually called a static type programming. Now, what do you mean by static type programming? Before using for any assignment, that means before assigning any values, 100% you have to declare the data type. What type of value I am storing it? What type of value I am storing it, right? Now, you go to a park. You go to a park, okay? There will be seating arrangements. There will be a lot of seats that will be in park. So in park, what happens? They would have clearly mentioned this seat is for kids. This is for parents, or this is for elderly people. So you have some notification there, right? If you have a seat, who can sit on the seat? It can be either a kid or it can be parent. So they'll actually give the indication that this is for this people, this is for this people, right? Now that is where I will relate that into a static type. That means before storing it, you have to tell them what you're going to store. Before storing it, you have to tell them what you have to store. That is called static type. Here I am storing data, A equal to data, but I have to clearly mention what is at A. And that is where that string comes into picture. So it should be like a string A equal to data. That means I am making sure that A equal to data means I am telling beforehand only A is a string. Now, if I talk about the second data type, I have to store P equal to 6. In this case, I should also tell that it is a for integer purpose. That is the value which I'm going to store. It's actually an integer. Now, these are the two things which I need to remember. If it's a Java, it's a statically typed. But let's see what is this Python now. Now, Python has been considered as a dynamic programming. You directly assign it. Simply you assign it. Anything you assign it. I'm least bothered. Anyone who can come, you sit in this place. I'm not going to ask whether it's for kid or it's for adults. No. Anyone can go and sit. And that's what your Python becomes a dynamically program. That means you need not go and tell them what data type it is. Automatically it will assign its own data type. So you can assign data, I mean A equal to data, B equal to 7, B equal to 8. Anything you do directly, it will go and create a data type. Now that's a major difference between your Java and Python. Java becomes a static type. You have to tell beforehand what values you're going to store it. Whereas if you come with Python, such an easy actually. Syntax wise also it is easy. And the good thing is it is also helping us to avoid the declaration of the variables, which is very, very easy for us. Okay. Now, one thing I'll tell you, since I always come from a cricket background, like I actually play cricket, a lot of cricket. So let me explain you a small example. We all know the number one batsman is Virat Kohli, right? And we know that the number one bowler is Jasprit Bumrah, right? Now, can we compare these two people? Can we compare these two people?
No,
Why?
No.
Why?
their roles are different.
Their roles are different. Okay. If I ask Jasprit Bumrah to bat in a critical situation, he will not, right? And if I ask Virat Kohli to bowl in the important situation, he will not, because that's not their role. Virat Kohli is known for batting. Jasprit Bumrah is known for bowling. If I want to take one ball, one wicket, that will decide my fate. I will definitely choose Bumrah for that. I will not choose Kohli. If I want to hit one ball, one six, I will not call Bumrah. I will call Virat Kohli, right? Now that is the role. Now both are players, but at some times I have to value Kohli and sometimes I have to value Bumrah, right? It's basically at that situation. Similarly, never think that your Python is a replacement to Java. Never think that your Python is replacement to Java. Okay, we will all stop using Java and then we will go and learn Python. No, never think in that way. Both are good in their own responsibility. Okay, today, if I want to build a web application, there is nothing better than doing the web application in Java. Java is a evergreen. Today I may be talking about SQL, tomorrow I may be talking about Python, tomorrow even I may be talking about cloud. But one of the evergreen subject that we need to accept the fact that I have been seeing this technology from right beginning of my career. This technology is always in demand. Always in demand. Java is always Java. No one can ever replace Java coding language because that's one of the evergreen. You may be asking, you're teaching Python and why are you appreciating Java? Well, we need to accept the fact that the technology is evergreen. No one can ever replace it. Okay, then why are we using Python? Well, in Java, we can come up with a web application. We can come up with an enterprise application, basically like ICAC web application or like a KSR Datavizon application, your IRCTC, everything can be implemented in Java. You can also use it for testing purpose. Right? So it's an evergreen. The coding comes with an evergreen. Now, I have to do some data cleaning and I have to do some data transformations. So what's the role of a data engineer? We will be getting the data and it may not be in the proper format. We have to put a lot of efforts. So what I'll use, I'll have to go and do data
కాకపోతే నేను
cleaning.
ఎందుకు యుఎస్ అయినా ఓకే ఎందుకంటే
Please be
ఇక్కడ
on
చేస్తే
mute.
సంబంధాలు మంచి మంచి పోతాయి.
Please be on mute. We have to have a data cleaning. We have to do the data transformations, right? So we have to do all these things, right? As part of the data engineer. Now, all these things, I am not saying that it is not possible in Java. Java is an evergreen and I can say it is possible. Okay. And the word nothing is impossible, I have learned from Java only, because in Java, everything is possible, right? But in order to do all this data cleaning, data transformations, I can still do it. But here I have to write a lot of code. Here I have to write a lot of code, but it's possible. It is possible. Okay. Now let's talk about Python now. So Python, it can also be used as a web application. It can also be using a desktop application. Some scripting can be done. It can be we can do some testing as well, and we can also build some machine learning models, and for data engineering also we can use our data cleaning, data transformations. All this becomes more flexible. And here, if for the data cleaning and data transformations, here if it is taking 100 lines, here it will take 10 lines, but it is possible in both. It is possible in both, and only for this reason we are preferring Python, because we have to climb the Mount Everest. I cannot take my entire path to be difficult. So I have to choose a smallest path. I have to choose a safest path. So rather than spending lot of effort in the ground itself, let's put effort on top of the mountain. And that is why we are choosing a subject which can make our work easier. I can do the data engineering transformations and cleaning in both the technologies, in both the programming languages. But here I am preferring Python because it's very easy, very convenient. Within the less number of lines of code, I can always go and write, because Python comes with lot of libraries. Whereas in Java, you can still do it, but you have to write lot of code. And that is where my smart work comes into picture. Okay, if you want to do the hard work, you can always go and write in the Java. But I'm here not to do the hard work. Hard work is gone. Okay, if you see that only the hard work people would have survived, and you should have seen by this donkey would have been the one of the king of jungle. The way it puts a lot of efforts, donkeys, it should have been the best animal, right? But even it is today, it is struggling. So only hard work is not going to help you. Hard work with smart work is required. So what we are going to do, what we have done in Java, 100 lines of code, now I have to write it in 10 lines of code. So that is what is needed. And that is the one reason why I am writing Python for going forward, right? So please don't think that Java is replaced. Java is evergreen. It's always evergreen. Even if you ask me after 20 years, 30 years, Java will still be evergreen. Python is also good, but I cannot build a Python for your enterprise application. So if you ask me, can I build IRCTC application? Can I create a KSR application with with Python? It's difficult. So it may not be that convenient to use Python, but Python is useful for all your data engineering, data analytics, data science, for all that you can do is. So each one has own strength. Just like what Jasprit Bumrah is like strength, just like what Virat Kohli is strength, here also each one has their own strength. Each one has its own strength. Okay. With this comparison, we got to know that Python is dynamically typed programming, where you need not declare the variables. You can simply start using it. Okay. With all this introduction, let's jump into our next point. Larger community, easy syntax. Now, I'll tell you what is the Python is known for. Okay. What is Python is, it is actually not focusing on only one programming language. The reason why Python become famous is, let me talk about Ravindra Jadeja or Hardik Pandey. Okay. So let me talk about Ravindra Jadeja or Hardik Pandey. So what is the difference between these two people? In these two people, I can use them for both bowling as well as batting, as well as fielding. So even for Jadeja or Hardik Pandya, right, I can use them both because they are called as all-rounders. Now, what these people have done, they have learned some features from Virat Kohli for batting. They have learned some features from Bumrah for bowling. So these two people becomes an all-rounder. These two people becomes an all-rounder. So what we have done is, so there are some features. What Python is doing, Python is actually taking some functional features from C or C++, right? So what happens here? Functional means every code has to be executed line by line. So it is like depends on some function by function. So that features they are taking from C. And we do have a Java which is known for object-oriented programming. We'll discuss what is this object-oriented programming in the future classes. At this point of time, imagine that it is another way of coding. It is another way of coding. So this is functional way of coding. This is a OOPS concept. So what it does is it is actually combination of multiple coding language, and that is why it can do everything for us. It can do everything for us. It can do everything, but it is not best in everything. There is a difference. Okay, it can do everything, but it is not best in everything. There are some features where it is best. There are some features it needs improvement. That's why I keep saying, right, your Java is always known for web applications and enterprise applications. You can build an IRCTC website, you can build ICAC net banking, but you cannot do it with Python. But you can still do it. It may not be that effective, right? So that is why Python can do everything, but remember that again a tagline, it can do everything, not to the perfection. Well, I'm not looking for perfection here, right? I just want that features to be implemented. So that is where today Python is so famous that it can include all the features from the C, it can include the features from Java, and it can also include the features from other languages like Perl, shell scripting, modular 3. You need not figure out what is all this. Just imagine that these are all the other programming language. With all the other programming language, it is clubbing and it is taking some features, and that is why today this is considered to be one of the fast growing language where you can use it for everything, but not to the best. I don't want to be the best. Okay, maybe in your schools and colleges you will always aim for the first rank. Now doesn't even matter, right? You all know even the first rank student is also working for the same client, last rank is also working for the same rank. Ranks doesn't matter here, right? So we have to do the things, but not to the perfection. So Python is good for data engineering and data science, may not be good for enterprise applications. I'm least bothered because I'm not using it for web applications, right? So with that, the third use why I'll be using Python is open source. So if I say open source, anyone can start installing, anyone can start writing the code. So open source, it is available for everyone to install in their local machine and they can start working. There is nothing like you have to pay license or something. Just go install, start using it. Okay. So this is about the open source. And most importantly, I would like you to talk about rich libraries. Rich libraries. This is one of the features that I will be keep on stressing, that if you want to do any functionality, like let's say I have a duplicates, I have some null values, let's say I have some of the data cleaning has to be done. The good thing is you need not write the logic from scratch. You need not write the logic from scratch. Since it comes with a very good community based coding language, you can always use the libraries. 10 years back, 15 years back, someone would have faced the issue with the data cleaning. They would have created one function and they would have placed it, and you can use that function easily. That is what I keep saying, right? Most of the functionality you will be able to get it by referring. Already they have written and you are using it. Now that is where the very unique features of Python is it has lot of libraries. What is a library? Library is something which you have set of code that has already been rewritten and you can go and refer at any time, right? So that is where your rich libraries comes into picture. And the other one reason which I would say is in terms of job opportunities, if you say your recruiters that you know Python, for sure they'll give you the first preference because they know that how fast it is growing in terms of the opportunities as well as in terms of the usage. So the first coding language which I would really consider to be most popular is the Python. So knowing Python will always be like a upper hand. You can always be a bit of strong, like saying that yes, I do have a coding knowledge, and especially I do have a Python. So it can be used for any of the domains. It can be used for any of the subjects. So knowing Python will always add and it will boost your stability in your career. So if you know Python, you can survive anywhere. That's the meaning.
Santosh, I have a question. Can I ask a question? No.
Is good.
Yeah, this we have the libraries, right? Like in the previous slide, pandas, numpy, and PySpark. Like which library will use for what kind of operations in the data engineering?
We will be covering that. Okay. We'll be covering a set of libraries. We have lakhs of libraries, but we will not be learning everything, right? So as I said, for data engineering, there are 3 to 4 libraries which we will be using. The one which you see on the screen, we will be using this three. This three we'll be using: Pandas, PySpark, and NumPy. This is for machine learning. This is for deep learning. So we have certain libraries for certain functionality. So depending on our need, we will be learning.
Okay, okay, got it. Okay,
And
sure.
Santosh, for visualization, which library is required, Santosh?
For visualization, we can go with Matplotlib or Seaborn. We are not going to learn that because visualization is not the thing which we'll be doing. Our main work is to come up with a data cleaning, data transformations, make sure that the initial process is implemented. For that, we will be using Pandas, NumPy, and PySpark. We are not focusing on any visualization tools here. Now, to talk about the next point, it's a platform independent. So when I say platform independent, you can install your Python in Windows, you can install in your Mac, you can install in your Ubuntu, you can install in your Unix. It's actually not dependent on the OS. So since it's not dependent on OS, I will call that as a platform independent. So it doesn't depend on anyone else. You can directly start using the Python on any system. Okay, so all this is making our work easier. Larger community, job opportunities, platform independent, easy syntax, rich libraries, open source. Well, I can keep listing out all the points, but the 6 points should be more than enough for you to start your Python. Okay, so with that, let's see what are the features of a Python programming language. Okay, the first thing is it's free, easy to learn. It's a high level language, so it's a readable, cross platform. So when I say cross platform, you can install it on any machine. It has a very good memory management, very, 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 very good standard libraries. And as I said, open source. And finally, you can have some exception handling. If something goes wrong, you can always go and handle it. Now, these are the features of Python programming language, right? Now, as I said, application, we can build a web application, we can build a desktop application, console-based software development, and a scientific and numeric business applications, audio-based, 3D application, enterprise, image processing, everything we can use. But I will be using for data engineering, I'll be using for data analytics, I'll be using for business analytics, I'll be using for data scientist, but main focus is will be like using for data engineering, right? So we are going to use Python only for our data engineering, right? So with all this, let's get into the installation now. So we have to install one we have to install one software, right? And the software is, let's say the software is, this is Python. Python is also a snake. And now we have to install a software called Anaconda. Okay, so we have to install a software called Anaconda. So what we will do is, let me ask you this question. Python is also a snake, right? Anaconda is also a snake. What is the difference? Anyone? What is the difference? Python is also a snake, Anaconda is also a snake. What is the difference?
I think Anaconda is very huge compared to Python.
So this is
Python,
Python snake.
Python,
It's become to, it's a different breed.
Both are same, right? What is the difference?
Size.
Looks very bad to see. But you tell me, what is the difference?
Size.
Size, huh?
I think anaconda lives in the water. Like it can also live in the water.
Okay. Actually, we already discussed that this is not a snake, right? In terms of Python, it's a programming language, but they've kept it from uh, a program name, right? So they've kept it from a program name, that is, they've used the name Python. But if I want to compare, it's a different breed. That's what I understand. But let's not get into a deeper. But this is a programming language. Okay, this is a programming language, and this is a software for running Python code. Just like what we have already know, right? SQL was a language, and the database that we have used is MySQL. There's a database where we go implemented the code. So similarly here also we are going to learn Python, but we have to use in one of the editor. That coding editor is nothing but Anaconda. Okay, so Anaconda is a software where you will be writing all of your Python code. Let's see how to install Anaconda software. Okay, I'll be sharing this document. Please refer this. First of all, what I have to do is, see, each one I'm requesting you to install the Anaconda, because though we can always go and use in the online editors, but I don't want you to do that. I want you to understand the pain of using an on-premises. Only then you will get to know the fruitfulness of the cloud. So today everything we are installing in my personal machine and then doing it. But in future, if I start using it in the cloud, that is where I get to know the benefits. So for now, please go and install and work it. Okay, as in then go to Google, search Anaconda download, and click this Anaconda distribution. This is what you will get it. Okay, go to the products. So directly you will be able to see the Anaconda distribution in Windows. But for example, you are actually working with Mac OS or any other, you can click the additional installer. So for me, it is directly showing because it's my Windows machine. For you, you can click this and get to know which system you want to get it. And once you click this, this file gets downloaded. This file gets downloaded, and you can see that Anaconda 22 version has been downloaded, and it is also showing me thanks for downloading. Okay, as usual, I'll pick out that from the downloads. I'll go to one folder. Okay, in Santosh, in Anaconda, I will copy that folder. Okay, the one which I've installed. As simple as double click, you'll get this. Click next. As in then every software asks a license agreement. Just agree it. Since you're the only person who's going to use it, just click that. Just me, mostly recommended. Go for next. You need a minimum of 3 GB space. So please make sure that your C drive is good enough to have the 3 GB space, and click next. Just go and click this register Anaconda. So by default it would have been selected. Just go and install it, and the installation happens. All of the libraries will get installed now. Then that's the beauty of using Anaconda, because Anaconda, all the libraries would have come, so you can use it directly. So this process will take more time. It's extracting all the libraries. You need not do anything. It will take time. And once it is completed, go and click next. That's it. Your installation is done. Hardly it will take 5 minutes. Hardly it will take 5 minutes. So request everyone to do this so that you get the environment for practicing. Once you open, this is what you will see. Welcome to Anaconda. Welcome to Anaconda. Okay. And you will be able to see in the search. You'll be able to in the search, just search Anaconda, and you will be able to see Anaconda Navigator. So if you click this Anaconda Navigator, you'll able to open that. You click the Anaconda Navigator. It's actually in, opening. See, the Anaconda is opening. You can see that snake, right? The green color snake. So it's getting open. So this is the Anaconda Navigator. This software is a bit heavy software. So when I say heavy software, it requires at least 8 GB RAM, or you at least require 10 GB space in the hard disk. Okay. So if it is not installing, don't go and buy a new laptop. Okay. So don't go and invest your money on your laptops, not required. If it is not installing in your personal machine, fine. I will tell you how to practice. Simply don't go and buy, just because Anaconda is not installing, don't go and buy a new laptop which is 40-50,000. Don't waste your money. Okay. I will tell you how to practice, but my first preference will always be install it. In case if your laptop becomes slower, in case it is not, you're not able to work with any other tools, uninstall it, not required. Okay. But I will tell you how you can practice. Right. I'll tell you how you can practice. There are multiple ways that you can practice, but the one which I am preferring is to install this so that you can easily work with it. Okay. Now let me close it. Let me close it. So that is about installation. Anaconda Navigator. If you open this symbol will come. So that symbol means it's basically like opening it. And finally, this is what is Anaconda Navigator, where you can see Jupyter Lab, Spider, PowerShell, Notebook, everything you can see. Okay, that is all about installation. So I'll be sharing this document. So please make sure that you go through it. Okay. Now I was talking about Anaconda, right? We're talking about Anaconda. Anaconda is a software. So Anaconda is a packaged where you can it consists of all the Python libraries, right? And whatever you want, right? Whether you want a data science or data engineering or data analysis, every library you will be able to get it. Even if it is not having, you can always get it, because this is a software you already installed. But maybe Python is coming with the new updates. So in that case, you can also leverage that new libraries into this Anaconda. We can make sure that we can install it. Now, this is what we have as a Anaconda software, which we can use it for executing our Python scripts, right? So as I said, go to the Anaconda website and you can always go with the Python 3.x and you can choose which one you want. So this is a Windows machine. So you want to install this or this depending on your 32-bit system or a 64-bit system. Go with the installation. If you want Windows, you go with it. If you want Mac, you go with it. If you want this, you go with it. I would strongly suggest don't prefer 2.7. It's an older version. Prefer 3.7. In that 3.7, whichever you want, you choose it. Okay, whether it's a Windows, Mac, or Linux, right? So as I said, these are the steps, installation process. When the screen below appears, click on next, click on I agree, click on next, and just click that this one. Actually, you can opt for this. Okay, so you can opt for this, and then the installation will be completed. And finally, you are finishing the installation. Okay, so that is about the installation. Now, before coming to the next class, I want everyone to install this, because end of introduction, we are going to start practicals. Okay, so no more theories. Everything is going to be practical, and it's going to be a live coding from tomorrow. So request everyone to install the software. Okay, so any questions on what we have discussed?
Yeah, Santosh, this is Ravi Santosh. So actually we are installing the Anaconda, right? What is this differ from Pandas and PySpark libraries, right? These Pandas libraries and this Anaconda, how they are different? This is not the library. Anaconda is not the library, right? If I'm not wrong.
Have you went to a library, like in your life, in your school, colleges? You would have went into a library, right?
Yes, I went to the library.
Okay. What is there in libraries?
Very good.
Similarly, Anaconda is your library now. If you go there, you will get different type of books. You will have thousands of books that is placed inside the library. That is what is happening. Anaconda is a software. When you enter the software, there are a lot of libraries that is already there for you. You can use whichever you want. Each one, what you're talking, right? Pandas, NumPy, it all becomes like a one book.
Okay, okay. So in Anaconda, you will find all these libraries.
Yes.
Okay.
Santosh, instead of Anaconda, can we go with other like PyCharm, where we can do our application practicals?
If I show you here, in this Anaconda also, you will find all the softwares which you're talking, right? Let's say this part. If you see here, Spider is there, Notebook is there, PyCharm is there. So you'll find everything. So inside this only, you will find all the softwares. Inside this, you can use PyCharm or you can use Notebook, anything you can use.
No, I am telling on in terms of space because I don't have that much space remaining in my laptop. That is why I am telling.
That is why I told you, wait for another one day. I will tell you how to practice it. If you're not able to install the software, leave it. Leave it, don't worry. Okay, there is no like 100% rule that you have to always install this. The reason why I'm asking you to do this so that it becomes you will be comfortable in using the on-prem so that you will understand the fruitfulness of going with the cloud. If it is not possible in your laptop, leave it. I'll tell you how to practice in the next class.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, Santosh, Sandeep here.
Yes.
As you were explaining how to install the Anaconda software, parallelly I was installing. So there is one update after I installed. It's asking me to install Anaconda Navigator 2.5.2. Shall I go ahead with that? Or,
Yeah, go ahead. Just install the latest version.
Yeah. As soon as I installed, again, when I opened that Anaconda.navigator app, it does.
Just it will ask you to upgrade. That's it. Just do it.
Okay, fine.
Any other questions?
Yeah, Santosh. My question is anyway, it is not related to this data engineering. The question is, as you said, Python we will be using for data science, data analytics, business analytics, and data science. Just I want to understand what is the difference between this data analytics and business analytics.
Data analytics and business analytics. Data analytics, basically what you do is you do some reports like Power BI reports, Tableau reports, and you start explaining about the business. Like you will be focusing more on the data part. Like business analyst, what he does is he will already be getting some reports, but he'll be talking more towards the business ideas. Hey, this sales is not improving. Can we increase the sales? Can we come up with some suggestions, ideas? So those type of things. So all in all, both are same. But how much you use data, how much you use business, difference the role. If you're using more of data related tools, you'll call it as data analytics. If you use more of business oriented tools where you talk to your clients, explain the requirement, get to know what needs to be done, where you focus more on the business side, it is called business analyst. Both falls under a same umbrella.
Okay, thanks.
Any other questions? Okay. If you don't have any questions, I'll just explain you one simple another technology. Okay, another skill. Python is a new skill, right? So let me explain another skill. I'll tell you that in this group, imagine that no one knows swimming. No one knows swimming. Okay. No one knows swimming. So what I'll do, the way you need to swim is, you just need to be very much in line to the water level, and you have to shake your legs. You have to like shake your legs so fast that it pushes the water. It's like just using your physics principle. You push the water and you pull. I mean, your hands like it will go from the front to back, so it will pull the water. And the moment you pull the water gets back and you move forward. That is all is swimming. People are thinking swimming is very difficult. It's very easy. You be in line onto the water, like stand very much closer, shoulders up. You place your hands front, start shaking your legs so that you don't sink. And to move forward, you have to pull the water back. So the moment you pull the water back, you will go front. That is all is swimming. Okay. Now, with this 5 minutes of training on swimming, can we all get into the water and start swimming? Is it possible?
No.
Why? I have given you a clear explanation for swimming. Why you cannot get into the water?
Practice. We need practice.
Your Python is also like swimming. Unless and until you get into the water, you can never learn it. I may be teaching everything from basics. If you don't practice, never expect that you will be able to learn Python. I'm telling you upfront. Okay. If you are not practicing with me, you can never learn it. Okay, not only me. If you are learning even from the best teacher in this world, the best teacher in this world, even if you are learning the Python from the father of the Python, whoever has introduced Python, even if you are learning from them, don't expect that you will understand everything unless until you practice. I'm setting this expectations on the day one. So if you don't understand Python, I am not responsible. Is it clear? I will be telling you everything. If you don't practice, that is where you people will lack. It's just like a passing cloud. Is expectations clear? Yes.
Yeah.
With all that, please come to tomorrow's session with the Python installed. We will start our practical classes. Just one day introduction done. From tomorrow, it's going to be a practical classes. Right away from tomorrow, we are going to jump into the live coding and we will see how it goes. Okay. So please do attend tomorrow, 8 o'clock. Thank you. We'll stop here. We'll continue tomorrow. Thank you all. We'll meet again, 8 o'clock.